my name is Lynn and this is the Darby Notes channel and it's time for a little shop update. Well, right now I just finished making some waxes with mineral oil. I got a question from a couple of people who asked if I have any food grade waxes. So I mixed up a bunch here using, food grade mineral oil with beeswax. And as you can see, the tone of the waxes is a little more yellow because the mineral oil is completely clear. So that imparts no color whatsoever, so all the color comes from the beeswax. Another person also asked me what I use my crock pot for, and this is what I use when I make my wax polishes. I melt a lot of wax in the crock pot, and it's a great way to melt the wax because it's very gentle and you can melt a lot of wax at the same time. And it also acts as a natural filter, because if there's any impurities left in the wax, it goes to the bottom. And then I just scoop up what I need and mix it with oil, combine it over a double boiler, and put it in my tins. The ratio here is also 4:1 with 4 parts mineral oil and 1 part beeswax. And these will go up in the shop very soon, probably when the video is out. So yeah, go and check that out. And I just want to thank everyone for the great response to the new shop. That was really awesome. Thank you guys so much. And another person I want to thank is Caleb Craft, who is a writer for Make magazine, who recently featured my grand glue test video on Make's website. So that was really cool, and I got a whole bunch of new people, so welcome if you haven't been here before. So that was really cool. Now moving on to some other things. In my last video on Darben Orver, where I put up a video every Friday, I built this garden toolbox out of cedar. A really simple build that I really wanted to get into a spring mode a little bit. I know so many guys are dealing with snow and bad weather, but it's been actually pretty nice here in Oregon. And I've just been wanting to get out there, and I really wanted to do something garden related, just to get inspired if nothing else. So where this all came from was actually this first box, this prototype that I built. And maybe somebody will recognize it. It's actually the scraps left over from the glue test where I broke all those boards. So I had all the scrap on hand and I was just thinking to myself, what can I do with this? So one night I just started playing and I just started staggering these and first just building this bottom part. And just kind of had fun with it. I wasn't really sure where it was going. I mean, sometimes I like those kinds of projects the best, when you're just kind of playing and kind of see where it takes you. So when I started out building the first box, I staggered all the pieces, and I also did that on the sides, the pieces that held the handles. So I put one piece, screwed it in, put another piece, screwed it in, until I had 2 big blocks on the sides as well. Then after that, I used my coping saw to cut the angles of the handles, and I used a jigsaw to cut the hole in the middle to remove some of the wood in there. But then I accidentally hit some screws because there were so many screws going through this piece, which is why I figured it would actually be a better idea to prepare the sides ahead of time. To glue the pieces together, cut the angle, cut the hole in the middle, and then screw it in onto the base. That's what I did with the second toolbox, the one that I made a video about. But I actually did screw in, I didn't show this in the video because I didn't get to that point yet, but here I added some screws because you do want to connect it to this bottom here and just connect all these pieces together. So I have some screws going, in this whole top here, just to get everything a little sturdier. And you might also notice that this color is a little more yellow because I actually added some spar urethane. And that's because, you don't have to add anything with cedar, but I think I probably will keep this outside. And cedar does gray over time if you just leave it, which is fine. Some people don't mind that. But I really like to keep the color of the wood, which is why I just decided to go with the spar urethane. Now, this one is made out of pine. And I think I'm going to be spraying this like bright red with an oil-based paint, something like that. Something really bright and glossy and kind of fun that would really pop any green plants in here or something. So I might put up a video if I do that as well on Darben Notes. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about how a project that like this, comes to mind, because it really just started out as, playing with scraps and then figuring it out. Because I got a comment where Paul asked if I were to do this again, would I connect this differently? Would I nail it through? And that's what I did on this one first. And like I said, I had some issues with the you know, the screws here, and just much easier to build this side part first and then glue it on when it's one piece. Of course, there are many different ways that you can build something like this. I mean, you could do it where you maybe have a solid piece of wood here, if you have a wide enough piece that you know, cut out the whole side of, and then, you know, a solid piece for the front here too. Then of course you could glue your pieces vertically as well. But the thing with both of those options is that you wouldn't get these finger joints on the side where they are overlapping, and that's really the thing that I liked. So that's why I decided to go that route. But yeah, there are lots of different options and ways in which you can build something like this. And Marcelo asked what type of glue I used, and for this one I used Titebond 3 because this is cedar, which is a little oily, so that it's supposed to be better for those types of woods. Of course, when I did this one I used Titebond 2 because this is pine. So anyway, I do kind of like the way it came out, and I think I'm going to be using it, so that was kind of a fun build, even though it might not be ready for spring everywhere. You know, it's going to get here. It's going to get here really soon. So if any of you are following my Instagram account, you will be aware that the other day I went up to Portland to visit a Rockler store. And I've never been to a Rockler store before, and it was really nice. It was a beautiful day, it was like 65 degrees and sunny, and just went up there and went shopping for a couple of different things. One of my favorite sections is of course the finishing area, and I have a couple of things on my list that I need to get. This is the unwaxed shellac, or the de-waxed shellac, the kind you want to use for a sealer. So that's great to have on hand. This was a great store to walk around, and I just loved taking my time and walking down each aisle. After all, you never quite know what you're going to find at a place like this. Here's an adorable mini bevel that I couldn't pass up. And here we have some doweling kit bits, which I've been thinking about buying lately. If there's one thing I need, it's a couple of whetstones to sharpen the blades. Goodbye. So I got quite a few different things, but I wanted to show a couple of things that I got related to sharpening. And this is really something that if you use hand tools such as chisels or planes, you really want to make sure you sharpen them, because it makes a huge difference to have sharp tools versus not having sharp tools. You definitely need to sharpen your tools. But I've been using mostly a fine sandpaper up to this point, like wet saw sandpaper, and I haven't had any really fine sharpening stones. So I got two different kinds. So these are both Japanese whetstones, and then I also got some honing compound and strop abrasive, which is a little different, but it's related to sharpening. So I thought I would try them out. So before you use these, you need to soak them in water for like 5 minutes. So I finally found a use for my Craig jig. Or the case, at least. So this is a 1000 and a 6000 grit. So I'm going to be soaking this one and use it. Just going to fill this with water. So this has soaked now for 5 minutes or so, and I'm going to sharpen a couple of things. So this is a plain blade, and I just start with the back side. And this stone can get out of flat pretty easily, so you want to make sure you use the whole stone when you sharpen. Okay, and then I turn it around, find my angle. There it is. I just go back. And then I just turn it around to get the burr away. Go like that. And then I'm just going to take the stone and wet it again and turn the other side upside down. That is a 6000 grit. And do the same thing on that side. This is much finer. Wow. This is really nice. It's like clay. It's so smooth. It's really nice to have a fine stone like this. Wow. Now it takes a while to get the feel of the angle here, so a lot of people like to use a honing guide, which is just fine. Wow, that's really nice. And then again, just turn it around and get the burr off. Some people don't really like sharpening, but I really like it. think it's really relaxing, kind of getting your Zen state. Then I have the spoke shave that I actually use quite a bit. And let me get this off. Of course, that needs the blade on this one needs to be sharpened as well. Start with the coarser side and just go through the same motion again, starting with the back. And this blade is a little bit wider than the stone, so I'm trying to make sure I get the whole blade sharpened here. Do the other side again on this blade too. Now this is a whetstone, so you want to keep it wet the whole time you're using it. You don't want it to get dry. And then get the burr off in the back. Now another thing that's kind of cool is I've got this honing compound. Now this is an old strop. It actually used to be in a barber shop in New York about 100 years ago. So I got this fine honing compound, and it's basically like this kind of clayish green. It's really, really fine particles, and you just kind of apply it to the strop. And then you use this to kind of finish off the blade. And you do it the same way as you do the stone. Start with the back side, and then do the angle. And that just really kind of finishes it off. It makes it really super sharp if you do it right, and quite shiny too. So that's pretty cool. I also got this strop abrasive, which is very similar. It's just a different form of the powder. So I have a couple more things in my sharpening collection now. Now I just want to go through all my things and make sure they're very nice and sharp. And just a little announcement. Woodworking in America is taking place at the end of September in Kansas City. So this is a big event, and this year a bunch of us YouTube woodworkers have gotten together and gotten a booth. So I know it's really far ahead, but I'm going to be there and it's going to be a lot of fun, and if you're there, I'd love to meet you. So put that in your calendar if you're anywhere in the neighboring area or if you're traveling up. So that should be a lot of fun. Otherwise, I guess that's about it for this shop update. I'm really looking forward to playing with some of my new toys here. And I'm working on next week's project, which I think is going to be pretty cool. And don't forget to check out my shop at darbinorver.com, where I sell some of my mallets and a couple of different waxes. And yeah, I guess that's about it. I'm available on social media where I put updates, and my main channel is Darbin Orver, where I put up weekly project videos. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye!